Yo, what's up everyone? Today we're going to be talking about Rent a Girlfriend. This is a little different type of video than I've done. Usually I just kind of cover the chapters and that's about it. But since the last few chapters have been such a roller coaster of events, I just thought it would be kind of good to cover all of the events that have happened so far and how we're going to kind of move forward with the series. Okay, yeah, so jumping straight into it, we've been on the date arc for a minute now. But now we are at the end of the date, and this was supposed to be kind of the conclusion to Chizuru's research kind of saga, where they were living together, and she was trying to discover her feelings for Kazuya. Throughout their time living together, it really seemed like she was warming up to him, and they got a few character interactions together, but in the end, we can see the result right in chapter 380. She rejects him, saying she's not ready for it. But before we talk about this rejection, there's a lot that needs to be said about the series, right? The last few chapters have been really bad. Cohesively, they've been really bad. In individuality, they've been decent for the most part. Like the way Chizuru went and rejected Kazuya was very unwarranted in 380, but, and I'm not trying to say that, oh, she has to get together with Kazuya because that's what she feels like she has pressure to do so. I'm saying it in a sense that she's made him wait for so long, lived together with him, had no qualms about it, seemed to be enjoying her time, and then gave the rejection with the reasoning that she needs more time. Like, this part of the story just doesn't make sense story-wise. Storytelling-wise, it just does not make sense why she needs more time. This is just due to Reiji not having them actually interact face-to-face with each other enough in the series. Most of the time, when Kazuya is thinking about Chizuru or whenever he's with Chizuru, we only get his internal monologue instead of actually getting him to talk to her. And when they do interact, it's just not very fruitful and it's not very deep, and it really feels like they can't connect with each other. So yeah, that's just kind of my thoughts on the actual rejection. I do support the fact that they're not getting together right now. I just don't really see how the story is going to progress very quickly. It just seems like their relationship develops very, very slowly. And it's just very hard to envision them quickly getting to a stage where Chizuru is ready to start dating Kazuya. Especially if her reasoning is that she has other things that are going on right now. I'm just hard pressed to see them getting close in a timely manner. Like, she says that considering her current lifestyle and work and everything else, she just doesn't think it's something she can jump into right now. So I guess that means we're just gonna get more Chizuru in the story, acting more as a leading character, as she did previously in the story. Maybe we'll get another acting kind of arc, or what we'll do is maybe we'll get her confronting Mommy and Ruka and trying to clear up this whole situation that they've been in. But yeah, 380 was kind of the first chapter of the rejection portion of the series. I'm not gonna lie, like, I did assume that something was gonna go wrong on the date, but I did not assume that Chizuru was just gonna straight out reject him. Like, I don't feel like this is really the best way that we could have gone about the series, but it's the way that we got, it's the way the author wrote it, and we're kind of just, that's all we have to go off of, right? The thing is here is that Chizuru is not saying explicitly, I don't like you, Kazuya. She's saying, hey, it's just not the time yet right now in the series. Because I know a lot of people were trying to make this out to be a crazy rejection, but it's more of just like, we got more in the tank for this series. But yeah, I hope that we will get more character development because of this, but because Chizuru just kind of feels a little one-dimensional of a character. Same with Kazuya. We haven't gotten any character development from Kazuya, and I would say Chizuru as well, in like 200 chapters, and they've kind of just been the same and nothing has really changed. But yeah, those are kind of my thoughts on 380. It was just a kind of weird rejection, and then we signified that Chizuru's ankle was kind of messed up. I don't know, disappointing chapter and unexpected at the same time. But yeah, moving on to 381, this is where Kazuya is walking back after freshly being rejected, and this is where they split off, right? They split off on the date to go back home. This is Kazuya's last night living with Chizuru. There's just gonna be one more night and then he's gone. And that's kind of what I thought was gonna happen. I thought that, like, going into this chapter, I thought that, okay, well, they're just gonna split off, you know, take the night, sleep on it. Kazuya moves out, and then the other girls come back in the story, like Ruka, Sumi, Mommy. They come back in the story and try to, and then Kazuya, you know, we just go off from there. That's kind of what I thought. But it seems like Reiji has different plans. And yeah, his plan was for Kazuya and Chizuru to just, you know, split off, but then reconnect. This chapter was just Kazuya in his mind, just talking about how the date, it seemed like it went well because it did go too well, in my opinion. Imori's honestly was a better date, like quality wise, like connection building wise. His date was better, but Kazuya's date with Chizuru was not bad. It's just nothing really substantial kind of happened in there. I mean, whatever, they got like 100% compatibility or like 90 something percent compatibility, but who cares? His date was just very uneventful with Chizuru. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think the date was going to predict the success in the situation, but yeah. This chapter was just kind of Kazuya thinking to himself, what is love? What's the meaning of it? Where did I go wrong? And I honestly don't think that he went wrong anywhere. It just, story-wise, we're not there yet. Narratively, Chizuru and him just have not had enough connection in the saddle. Like, they haven't had enough time in the saddle together. And that's a crazy thing to say when you're almost 400 chapters deep. They just don't interact. They just don't interact that much. And we need more of that. But yeah, this chapter as well, I mean, this chapter was good in its own right. I mean, of course, it kind of looks stupid because it's just kind of Kazuya looking like a loser here, but it's a more serious side of Kazuya that we don't really see all too much. Yeah, he's just reflecting on his actions. I mean, he really did everything right, but yeah, he's just more serious. This was the good part of the chapter, but the bad part was the story writing that followed suit, right? Like, if he went home and then went to sleep right after this, it would be great. It would be perfect. But what ended up happening was he meets at a crossroad with Chizuru at the end. Why? Why is this a plot point? Why would this be any good? I just don't know what is the reasoning to do this. I don't understand. The only thing I could think of is like the author wants to end the series here, but he just wants to have like a little roller coaster of emotions. Like, maybe it just doesn't have that much time left and he just kind of wants to end it, but he just wants to throw people through a loop for a little bit. Like, if the series was just going to keep on going, Kazuya would just leave. He would just go home. They would not meet. And then we would be able to fix it if it was going to be long running. If it was going to be short, they would, either the date goes well or the alternative where it doesn't go well, but now it's going to start to go well. You know what I mean? Whatever. He is working on Shinobu Family. That's a train wreck in itself. I'm making the chapters on it right now. I don't know. Bad story writing here at the end of the chapter of 381. Okay, yeah, and then we move on to 382. This chapter, like, just as what I was saying, all the chapters seem okay individually, but when you put them together, it's like not it. Like, these are good developing points, but just when you put them all together, it just is dog shit. 382. Still, Kazuya just kind of thinking in his head, he runs into the pole, whatever, and then they kind of meet at the crossroad. And then, yeah, Kazuya notices something's wrong with Chizuru, and then they go, and he eventually just picks her up and piggyback rides her back. Or she piggyback rides him back. It's a very awkward situation. Of course, he just got rejected, and Chizuru said that they shouldn't go back together, meaning that they ended not on the most, it's not that it's not friendly, but it's just kind of awkward terms. And then they meet each other. But this is, individually, it's a good chapter on like Kazuya kind of being more serious, kind of, hey, even though you rejected me, I still care about you and I don't want to see you hurt. But yeah, it's just like, it's a good chapter individually, but with the situation we're in, it's just bad. It's just not it. Just very train wreck, dumpster fire kind of writing. But yeah, especially how Chizuru's like, since the beginning, my foot's been fucked. Even since you're saying like, whatever, you get it. It's a good situation to happen in any kind of romance story, romance drama, romance comedy, whatever you want to say. It's a good kind of tropey thing to happen, but just in the situation that they're currently in, it's just not. It doesn't make sense narratively if you want the story to keep going on. Maybe that's just not even the intention here, but there's just so much that needs to be covered still in the story, like loose ends that need to be tied up. And I'm very hard pressed to think that, Rent a Girlfriend is getting shafted, especially since this, fourth season just came out. I think it's a decently popular series, so I don't know what the author's doing. And yeah, we're just going to move on to 383, because this is the one I kind of want to talk about for the most part. And yeah, this is their walk back. Just a weird one. It's a weird one, man. On the walk back, another good chapter in its own right, but with the current situation we're in, it's not good. Basically, Chizuru just starts talking about how she feels really bad for Kazuya, and that she would kind of hate herself if she was in Kazuya's shoes just because she's been stalling, being indecisive, not really giving him an answer. But yeah, I mean, it kind of is what it is, right? At this point, this is kind of villainizing Chizuru as a character when I feel like it's not the character design that's bad, it's the way that it's written. It's the way that the story is written is the bad part. Of course, it's a trashy romance, like comedy kind of drama story. So this type of stuff is gonna happen, but it just seemed like we were trending away from it just being a super trashy show, super trashy series of, like 100 chapters ago. It seemed like we were kind of off that type of timing. But no, we're back in it full force where he's getting rejected and then he does the most for her. But yeah, this chapter. I was reading a little bit. I went back and I looked at it. This is probably the most flirting we have gotten from them throughout the entire series. They're just having their little back and forth and going at each other, with Kazuya being determinant on still loving Chizuru, even though he got rejected and he needs to love her for a little bit longer, and Chizuru just keeps saying no. But yeah, that's kind of like really the only good part of this chapter, right? Is them just getting closer with each other. It's just something we really have never seen in this series at all. But yeah, the way that it's just being gone about, I don't know if I like it too much, just because what does this mean for the story going forward, right? Is Caesar really, like, are we really just gonna end here? Like, what's gonna happen? Like, they get home and then the next day Kazuya moves out, and then what? I just don't know what's gonna happen after this. I guess we can still kind of play out all the situations of like the other girls coming into the mix, and I guess this part of the story could solidify that Kazuya still has feelings for Chizuru, if that was the game plan. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really think this is the best way to go about it, personally. Yeah. I mean, Kazuya is giving a really fair response here, saying that he can't just completely drop his love for her, that he needs to just keep loving her, or at least let him love her for a little bit longer. So yeah, I mean, it's a fair response. And Chizuru, I think right now is just, I don't know, we just don't know. I mean, I guess she seems a little not, like, she seems a little not confident in herself and a little incompetent. That's like kind of the way that she feels about her situation. And I guess she just kind of doesn't understand why, someone would love her. I mean, I guess that's fair. But this kind of stuff really should be covered way earlier in the series. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, we have confirmation that she loves, well, she likes, or she has an affinity towards Kazuya, and we get the monologues in the last 2 chapters of Chizuru kind of indicating that they get together at the end of the story. In the end of this chapter, we also get her saying that Kazuya's scent is very familial. I don't think that's supposed to be in like some weird incest way. I think that's just supposed to be like he's very just comforting. Yeah, man, that's kind of the rundown of the last few chapters that have happened. Going forward, I mean, we have the whole Ruka situation. Kazuya is still dating her, and that is technically his girlfriend. And I guess you could say in this situation, he's kind of pulling the same thing as Ruka, where he just, even though even though Ruka knows that he is in love with Chizuru, she's just still loving him. But the difference is that they're already dating, and he's going on these dates without telling her. I don't know. It's just a bad. How are we gonna wrap that up? I'm not too sure. I mean, Ruka's just gonna be a losing heroine, but I don't know. And then we have the whole mommy situation as well, with her showing up during Yaemori's trial date. Well, not trial date, but like when Kazuya went to Joyopolis with Yaemori Mini, they ran into mommy, and she said that that wasn't her boyfriend, right? So she was kind of signifying that she is still interested in Kazuya, and she was just kind of embarrassed to be in that situation at that time. Yeah, whatever happens with her, she could have a few different tropes in the series at this point. She could play the villain and be the homewrecker type of character, or she could, try to incorporate herself into their friend group kind of and try to solve this out peacefully. I don't know. I mean, of course, she's not gonna win. Last thing I want to see is this becoming like a harem. But at this point, it might with this bad story writing. I don't know. Last few chapters have really been filled with disappointment. Yeah, I feel like the series could just be done so much more justice, but it's just not happening. I don't really care about Sumi's character all too much coming back into the story, because her story arc kind of went and, kind of came and went. It kind of felt at least a little polished. I mean, because really her whole thing was just she needed to build some more confidence. And then Kazuya went on a few, rental dates with her so she could get her confidence. And that was kind of it. The other people, not so much. I really want Kibe back in the story. I think he could really I mean, because Kazuya doesn't even need sense knocked into him at this point. Chizuru doesn't really need sense knocked into her at this point. It's really just they need to be forced together in a situation. And yeah, I guess that's what's happening right now. I read one thing in one of my comments. Was it one of my comments? I don't even remember where it was. But someone was talking about how Kazuya has the condom in his wallet. And they're saying, "Oh, well, this could be a major plot point." Dude, I forgot what it was, but like, I just, bro, that would be such a stupid thing to happen, dude. Like, what's gonna happen here? Like, oh, they lost the keys and they got locked out, so now I have to go to a hotel or something. That's like, bro, what is gonna happen in the next chapter? I genuinely have no clue at this point. Really, anything could happen because Yamori's not at the house, for what I can understand. She's not there. So if they are locked out, what are they gonna do? Yeah. If that doesn't happen and they just go to sleep, I still like, bro, what the fuck was this last arc for? Or like what the fuck was these last two chapters for? I don't know. But yeah, that's really about it, man. This was just kind of more of a off the cuff rant. And yeah, hope you liked it. I mean, if you have any intellectual takes you wanna tell me, please do so. And yeah, I'll see y'all.